for staying, guys. I'll make this brief. My name's Paul Campanis, and my father's Greek and my mother is British. And my father's parents were, my father's father was going to be drafted into the Turkish army, and he came to the United States around 1910 and died very quickly after. And my mother was British, and she moved to Cuba, and they raised sugar. They had a sugar thing in plantation in Cuba. And so my father's parents were Greek, and they were very poor. And when my father was 8, he watched his father die of a heart attack, and that put my grandmother into really bad poverty. And they ended up living in an attic in an illegal apartment in Boston. And but my father was a very good reader, and he knew Greek and he knew English. And because most of the scientific words and the literary words are Greek, and they have Greek roots, he did very well in school, and he got a full scholarship to Harvard. And he met my mother there, and then they got married in 1958, and then I was born in 1962, and I was growing up and just, regular kid in a suburb in Massachusetts, and around 13 years old, I started playing soccer. But at that time, there was a very famous movie star that moved into my neighborhood, and he got me involved in drugs. And he got me involved in marijuana and alcohol. And by the time I was about 15, I was an alcoholic, and I was addicted to marijuana, and I was getting in a lot of trouble. I wasn't getting caught so much. A lot of people thought I was a really good kid. And so this went on for many years, and when I got into my my high school soccer team, there were 2 guys that went pro from that team. It was a very small school, but one kid moved in from London his senior year. I was a sophomore, and then there was another kid, and they were unbelievable. We went to a state champion, but one of those boys invited me to church, and so I'd never gone to church before, so I went with him, and it was cool. I liked it. And I thought that was really great, but it didn't really affect my life at all. And then I went off to college and just got really into even bigger trouble. I was drinking a lot. I was addicted to marijuana still, and that was sort of a snowball rolling down the hill, as we say. I was getting into a lot of trouble, making a lot of really bad decisions. And then I started reading the Bible and I didn't know anything about it, and started reading about Jesus, and I was totally amazed at what Jesus was about. It wasn't at all what I thought it was. And then some people invited me to like a campus ministry thing where they were going to be having a sermon, having like a Bible study and stuff. So I said, I'll go. And so I went to the liquor store and got a bunch of beer and drank it. And then me and one of my buddies, we walked in there really drunk. And I remember they started teaching about, in the Gospel of Luke, about Jesus, and I thought, wow, I was just really impacted by that, and that was the last time I ever got drunk, and that was 41 years ago, and I haven't smoked marijuana or gotten drunk since then, and I really believe that God took those dark addictions away from me, and so I started joining that campus ministry, getting involved in that. Finished my college and got married, have 4 wonderful kids that all live in the area, and I go to church here, and the whole trajectory of my life was just going downhill fast, and then it just changed, and I started doing really well in school, and getting jobs and being blessed, and just really want to, I have a heart to help immigrants, because my grandmother just really struggled. But there was a family that helped her out. She worked in a raincoat factory, and she was alive until I was around 12. And I inherited her estate in the country of Greece. And so that came to me, so I maintained the houses and everything. And then my dad just passed about a year ago, and he was not excited about me becoming a Christian. He was a Harvard intellectual, and but about 8 years ago, he became a Christian, and it's just an amazing thing what happened to him in his life. So that's pretty much it. And any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, when are we going to go stay at your house in Greece?
Yeah, it's near the island of Patmos. You fly into Kos or Rhodes and come stay at my house. I'll be there the month of August, Mike. We'd love to have you. And you look Greek, so you get along great with everyone. And I don't speak Greek. My wife, she speaks 7 languages, and she's learned Greek over the winter. So she's still teaching me English, and that's not going very well.
Correcting your grammar.
She's correcting my grammar. She's from London. She's correcting my grammar, and I just say thank you, honey.
Very cool.
What do you do for work?
Yes. So I was when I became a Christian, I was about 21. I majored in finance, and then I got an MBA, and I went into the ministry after that. So I went to London to lead a campus ministry, graduated, and I went in the ministry doing finance, accounting, and computers for a group of about 100 churches. And then a few years after I left there, I retired when I was about 39. And I own 2 companies that are still in operation, but they're run by other people, and I do mostly ministry right now. So I have a garden ministry where we grow food for the sick and the poor. I lead a prayer ministry here at church. I lead a men's ministry. I lead this ministry and maybe a couple of others that I can't remember.
When did you move here?
I moved here in 1996. So I was in Boston for 30 years. That's where 3 of my 4 kids were born in Boston. Then I moved to Arizona for a year, California for a year, and then I moved here in 1996, and I love it here. And we've been very blessed in Nashville. We really love it here.
One thing that Paul hasn't said, that he said he has a garden ministry, but he also is welcoming to anyone that wants to come and have some food.
Yeah, if you want to get food, we grow a tremendous amount of food, and we waste about 95% of it just gets plowed under. So if you want to run faster and jump higher, eat food from my garden. I guarantee. But if you know anyone who has cancer, a lot of the cancer patients have to be on a nutrient-dense diet. So we give away tons and tons of food. So if you know anyone that needs food, we're there every Saturday morning and every Wednesday night to help people and to do food distributions.
So thank you, Paul.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for your attention.